Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first episode of What Does He Know About Wrestling? I am your host, the Catalyst, the wrestling genius, Esco, and I am here to deliver to you guys the real. That's what I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call it the real. Something that a lot of these podcasts or these streams or whatever, something that you don't really get. I'm giving you the real. I'm gonna give you rundowns on what we've seen in wrestling during the week. I'm gonna give topics, my opinions, which I don't even think they're opinions. I think they're facts. Everything that I say is the truth. Everything that I say is real. That's why I said that this podcast is going to be real. It's going to be the realest, the rawest, uncut. You would think this is the very first episode of Monday Night Raw ever. Um, but yeah, we can start things off here with the very first Raw on Netflix, because that's been a big topic. I mean, it was a big event. It was a lot of things to digest. So that's why I wanted to dive straight into it. We can get to know each other a lot throughout this journey of this pod. But that episode of Raw was, I'm not gonna say it was the best. I'm not gonna say it's the worst, but it was quite interesting of what we saw that night. We can start at the beginning with Mr. Paul Levesque, um, doing his rah rah. This is Raw on Netflix. This is NXT. 2016 to 2019 promos he used to cut before every single takeover. And then the weirdest setup with the pyro. He's standing in the ring, and then pyro just shoots right in front of him, like he's in between the pyro, and unnecessary. Shit was unnecessary. Him coming out there being unnecessary in is mind boggling because he's the one. It is not like we said it. It's not like anybody else has said it. He has said it that he does not want to be in the center of things. He doesn't want to be shown. His face is not going to be appearing as much as he says, and yet we see him damn near every week. He's there every week. And the thing is, I probably wouldn't have minded if he did not say. If he never said, "Oh, I don't want to be the face. I don't want to be shown," then I wouldn't have a problem with this. But it's the fact that he said it. So we go to that intro, the pyro, pointless, right? Then you have The Rock. The Rock comes out, speaks a whole bunch of bull. None of it was needed. None of it was needed. And I get that this is Raw on Netflix, the biggest show that you guys are planning. So you gotta have The Rock, right? So you think, oh, The Rock's gonna be there, Roman's gonna be there, Cody's gonna be there, Solo's gonna be there. You know that there's a story with this. Rock is there, Cody, Roman, all in the same arena. Something was going to happen. No. What happened was The Rock cut a babyface promo. He shouted out Cody Rhodes. Everything was good between them two. I believe he shouted out Roman too. I mean, they never really had issues, but they also haven't spoke since Mania. No interactions between them at since Mania, so it was like nothing that The Rock. It's like Bad Blood when he came out 1, 2, 3, and we thought something was gonna happen to that, and then we come to find out that Rock was only there just to make an appearance, just to show his face. That was it. No story, nothing. So he kind of just killed the story off of that whole year that he was building everything leading up to Mania of him beating the shit out of Cody Rhodes, just dog walking him. Shout out Jacob Fatu, but beating the shit out of Cody Rhodes for months leading up to Mania, right? So you would think, okay, so then I thought about it and I was like, okay, Rock shouted out Cody Rhodes. He had this feel good moment with Cody. And I was like, well, maybe that's a callback to the Raw after Mania. And I was like, okay, well, then that kind of makes sense. But then at the same time, Rock kind of initiated on that Raw after Mania that at one point, at some point down the road, he's going to come after Cody because Cody is the champion. But we didn't get none of that tonight. I mean, I know the road to Mania really starts at the Rumble, so if nothing comes of that, then keep that shit. Honestly. But okay, so we go on from there. Rock then kills some storylines that was literally the focal point, like number one in WWE. But whatever. We move on to the tribal combat between Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. I know Solo gets a lot of hate. He gets a lot of flack. People say he can't work. He's not that good in ring. He's not a good character. The tribal chief gimmick for him isn't working. I don't know where the hate come from. Because the NXT, the difference is, what people fail to realize is the difference between NXT and like the main roster is NXT doesn't really have the same rules and boundaries as the main roster because everybody on NXT is trying to figure their spot. They don't have a limit because people are still trying to find a character. So when Solo was in NXT, he was doing his thing. He was killing it, like match quality. He was killing it every time he was in the ring. And I feel like with the main roster, you do get limited to what you were doing in NXT. And I feel like people forget his NXT run and they look at his main roster run and it's like, first of all, I look at it like this. You have Roman Reigns, who, since he's been tribal chief and has this gimmick, his moveset has declined a lot. And people think it's a negative. I think it fits him perfectly. But you look at that, and then you have Solo, who was a part of the bloodline, the OG bloodline. You're not gonna have Solo outperform Roman in matches. So of course, Solo is going to be limited on what he does compared to what he did in NXT because one, you have to be limited in anything because now when you're on the main roster, you found your character. That's what you're doing. That's what you're going to stick with until they find something new for you. But when you're on the main roster and they tell you what you're going to be doing, that's what you're going to be doing. And two, you're not going to outshine the number one man in charge. You're not going to outshine Roman. You're not. And I'm not saying that Solo wrestles better than Roman. I don't think that. But for what Solo, if you put NXT Solo on that main roster in the bloodline, he's outshining the tribal chief Roman when it comes to that in-ring aspect. So when people watch Solo on the main roster and they're like, but his matches aren't good. His matches aren't living up to the potential that we thought he had. And it's like, I don't blame Solo. Solo is just doing what's given to him. And I honestly think he hasn't done bad for himself. I think what was missing was the fact that during the bloodline, Roman had a title, the Usos had a title, and Solo was just there. Now, do I think that Solo deserved a title or like, I feel like it's a lose-lose for him because I don't think he would have been ready for a Intercontinental or a US title run, but also him being in the bloodline and the only one not holding the title. Once it came time for him to get this role now to be tribal chief, it's like now everybody's looking like, well, what did he do to deserve this, right? Which is fair, which is correct. But I feel like since Solo has become number one in charge of this new bloodline, me personally, I think he has been killing it. Dude has been coming out of his shell, like, cause I don't even think we saw this in NXT. Like, he was just a monster in NXT. This, he's showing character. And this what we're seeing now is what I thought they were gonna go through with him in NXT with different type of characters, because we see that with people's progress in NXT. We've seen it with like Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, um, Sami Zayn was kind of the same throughout NXT all the way to main roster, but you guys get what I'm saying. Like, you see the progress that people make in NXT with characters and gimmicks and promo work and everything. But Solo has been killing it with this tribal chief gimmick. He's been killing it with the promo work. He's been killing it with segments when it comes down to like how Roman was good at talking without the mic. Solo has nailed that to a T. Like, man, like I don't I it's like Solo was like, he took what Roman was doing, and I'm not saying he's on that level of Roman, but he took what Roman was doing, he watched what Roman was doing, and he just did it the Solo way, the best that Solo can do. And do I think he can improve? Yes, he can. But as of right now, he's been killing it. And that match on Raw between him and Roman was great. I mean, it's tribal combat. Two ruthless Samoans who can really go in the ring was really going at it. It was hard hitting. It was back and it wasn't. And the thing is, I'm glad it wasn't Solo just dominating Roman or Roman just dominating Solo. It really looked like Solo can compete. When Solo said, "I'm him. I'm the tribal chief. I'm wearing this Ulafala. This is mine." He proved that what he was saying he could back up, because Roman did not have that advantage where he was winning majority of the match. It was literally a back and forth until interferences. Now to that, I feel like we all knew it was coming, where the new bloodline was gonna go in, and then you had Sammy and Jimmy, which I was fine with. I knew it was coming, but I feel like it really wasn't needed per se, only because we saw it at Mania. And this was the Mania Light, where it came, where it's like the interferences. And I'm not really hating on it. I'm not like I didn't dislike it, but what I did dislike was the Kevin Owens coming into play. And from Kevin Owens' point of view, I still don't get it, because yes, Roman has terrorized you for years, and I get it, but Solo was right there with him. Solo was beating you down too. So it's like you're helping Solo, the same man who was running with Roman and beating you down. And it's like you look at a Drew who's going like, I'm going after each and every one of y'all. I did not forget that each and every one of y'all been beating me down. Right? So like KO, and it wasn't like KO just attacked Roman and then just like Solo just took over. No, KO attacked Roman. I believe he hit her with a stunner, and then when Solo went for the pin, he was upset that Solo didn't win. Why should you care? Like, why should you care that Solo won or not? Like, why should that matter to you? And I was like, kind of, that was like brain shot to me. But then that was the whole bring Cody out, bring Cody out, and it was like, and the funniest thing to start off the whole show, the interaction between Rock and Cody was in the crowd. So why did Cody go to the back just to come back out? Like, I get it from a thought process. Cody didn't think that he would have to interfere. I get that, but if you're in a crowd, you mean to tell me that you just stood in the crowd just to see Triple H cut his intro and The Rock give you your credit, and then you just go to the back when the match start? Like, I don't know. I thought that was kind of funny to me, but I think the tribal combat match was, in my opinion, a 5-star weekly television match. It was a 5-star. I love the match. I'm a big Roman Reigns guy. I like Solo, but the chemistry was there. This is their first one-on-one match, and the chemistry was there. They were clicking, and I love the match. Okay, so then issue that I had about Netflix, or the debut of Netflix. They were now, mind you, they do this at PLEs, especially Mania, where they show the celebrities that's there. That's fine. That's cool. But I don't know. This is just a nitpick with me. You guys are gonna see me or hear me nitpick a lot. I'm a big nitpicker, and a lot of it just ain't that big of a deal. But it's just something that I noticed, that it was a lot of guys, a lot of people that they were showing that were just Netflix based. There were some celebrities in the crowd that were like true big celebrities, but then you had the one, like, it was like probably like five, probably more than that, that like were Netflix affiliated, that had a show on Netflix, a movie on Netflix, any of that. And I get it. You gotta advertise your product, but it's like, I don't know. It was just an issue with me. Not like a big issue, but it was just something that I just noticed quick when they will show the names, and it will just show what show or movie that they have playing on Netflix. And I'm like, bro, okay, I'm still not gonna watch this shit. But shout out to Macaulay Culkin. That boy got a pop, bro. That boy got a pop. I mean, I know he been through a lot in his life, but like, dude been killing it with his career. I'm glad that he's back to great health and he's happy, But let's talk about the GOAT real quick. John Cena. John Cena gave a John Cena speech, which I'll never hate, no matter how old it gets. But he's going on a retirement tour, which I hate. Like, you don't even have to retire; just pop up when you pop up. Like, don't even retire. Just be Cena. But he declared himself for the Royal Rumble. I think he should win the Royal Rumble, and this is a hot take that I know a lot of people aren't gonna agree with, but I think that he should beat Cody Rhodes. Because if you're going to go for that record number, which I don't believe is the real record for WWE, I think Cena Ben held the record for WWE world titles. But if he's going to beat Ric Flair's record, that's not even Ric Flair's record. But anyways, if he's going to get number 17, it shouldn't be for a title that lineage literally started a few years ago. I feel like it should be for the WWE title. If he's going to win number 17, it should be for the most prestigious title in the company, and that's the WWE title. And I think that it should be Cena and Cody in the main event, night 2 of WrestleMania. I think that Cena does have one big match left in him, and he should use it for Mania, and I think Cody is one of those guys where he doesn't have to be like Cody's not a great in-ring worker, but he can give you a great match if he has that chemistry. And I feel like if you build up Cena and Cody from the Mania win all the way to Mania, I feel like they can build up that chemistry, and I feel like they can have a great match. But yeah, I feel like Cena should win the Royal Rumble and face Cody because facing Gunther, taking the title off of Gunther, I don't think it necessarily will hurt Gunther, but I don't think it would help Gunther either. Like saying like, oh yeah, none of y'all could beat me. It had to take the GOAT to beat me, but like Cena hasn't won in fucking forever, so like that's a big L for Gunther. But also that lineage literally started when Seth Rollins won the title. So like it's not like they took the history from the big gold from when it came in 2002. I don't know. Beat Cody Cena. The fuck. Um Rhea Ripley is now the new women's world heavyweight champion. For people who know me, I've said it in my Discord, I said it in the Talk with Blaze Discord, I've said it on the BTBC podcast and server. I am done with Liv and Rhea. I am done with Liv and Rhea. First of all, I was done when it started because listen, I am a 27-year-old man. And that storyline was literally a Disney Channel high school storyline. Like, and this is my thing. Like, WWE has done a great job these last 3 years. I'll say 2 maybe, where the most important things in wrestling when it came to like the storyline aspect, where Roman's main priority as champion wasn't even the titles. It was that Ulafala on his neck. It was that being the head of the table. That's what he was more prideful in. And then you take the Drew and CM Punk, which was a blood feud, a great feud, but the main focal point was a 2-cent bracelet. People loved it. I could care less about it. And then you have this storyline where both women were world champions, but their focal point was Dominic Mysterio. Now, I know over the past couple months, it kind of shifted over to the world title, but the majority of the rivalry between Liv and Rhea was Liv taking not only the world title, but taking Dom and a Judgment Day away from Rhea. And it was like, okay, I feel like Dom was way too involved in this for me. I feel like Liv being a world champion, Rhea should be gunning to get her title back. Rhea should be like, fuck the Judgment Day. Y'all betrayed me. Y'all left me. I don't want y'all back. I don't want to fight. And I don't want to make it seem like I'm upset that y'all left me. I should be upset that my title is gone. Fuck Dom. Fuck Finn. Everybody in Judgment Day. I don't care what Dom is doing. Dom, you can have Liv. I want my title back. I want my title. And I just feel like Dom has been way too involved in this. And it just feels like a high school story that I do not care about. I never cared when it started. And I definitely don't care that it ended. Rhea's champ. Rhea's going to be the face of the women's division for years to come. Glad for that. I'm a Rhea fan. Should it be Rhea? That's a different topic for a different day. But let's move on. New Day. Now, okay, so I meant to say this before I even did the rundown on Raw, but this Raw was not for the normal watchers. This was not for the everyday Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, the NXT watchers. This was not. This was for the new fans, the casual fans who don't know what's going on, because Rock killed a whole bunch of storylines, and a lot of people who watched for the first time wouldn't even know that. Triple H coming out doing his intro with the pyro, people would think like that happens all the time. That's cool. They got pyro, you know. So then, like, I don't know if WWE thought we would just be dumb and forget, but like, I'm pretty sure that they advertise, like, probably not like Twitter posts or anything, but on the Raw, like actual TV show, they advertised a segment between New Day and Rey Mysterio. Unless I'm tripping, unless I missed out on something, or like I just wasn't paying attention, or I thought wrong, but I'm pretty sure that Rey initiated a segment between himself and the New Day, which was going to debut Pentagon Jr. Now, I know that got scrapped, but I feel like that segment itself shouldn't have got scrapped, only because I don't get the mindset of Rey not using the LWO. Like, you talk about, you got a homie for them, you got homie for New Day, when you got LWO in the back. They're literally standing with you while you're saying that. So that segment, they could have still had that segment with Rey coming out by himself. New Day attacks Rey. Now, granted, the crowd would think that Penta is going to show up. Now, if Penta was in the building, they could have. The thing is, it could have been a short segment. It could have been a short segment, but Penta could have debuted, and you could have kept your word. Rey could have kept his word. Now it just looked like I don't. That's why I say that this show was not for the regular WWE watchers. This was for newcomers, casuals who's stopping by. They see that there's gonna be a big event. They're gonna watch it. So nobody knows about what's going on with this New Day Rey shit. So that got scrapped. Like at this point, I think the Rey and New Day thing got scrapped, because if Penta, like, granted, it wasn't set in stone that Penta was going to help Rey or turn on Rey or even be involved in this. But for Rey to say that he got somebody with him or to be on his side, and he didn't even point, look at, or say anybody that was with him in the LWO, who else could it have been? Like, it had to be Pentagon. So with that, now that that's dead, because Chad Gable is going to face Pentagon Jr. next week on Raw, which this will be out. I'm recording this it's Sunday, 2:30 in the morning. This is going to be out later in the day. So the following Monday, we're going to see Pentagon Jr. make his debut. That got scrapped, and it had potential, but also I'm kind of glad that it looks like Pentagon isn't going to be wrapped into that the Rey vortex, the LWO vortex. Just like AEW has the Jericho vortex, WWE has the LWO vortex, the Rey Mysterio vortex, which I feel like Dom is still a part of, which I feel like he needs to grow out of, which I feel like was above his father, but yet they always find ways to bring Rey and Dom together. They should stop that. But we go on. New Day got scrapped. Also Rhea winning. I believe it was the Undertaker segment of him riding his bicycle around the fucking ring for no fucking reason, that the Penta shit got scrapped. Dumb as fuck. Wasn't needed at all. Taker didn't cut a promo. He didn't chokeslam nobody. He didn't tombstone nobody. No last rise, no big boost, no snake eyes, no nothing. He just rode his bicycle around just so we can hear fucking Kid Rock. And it was like I had to remember that that day was January 6th. So it was like, okay, whatever. Get y'all shit off. Wasn't needed. Waste of time. Um LA did their thing though. Hulk Hogan came out, they booed the fuck out of him. We are done with Hulk Hogan, and for people that say that it's for political reasons, Taker would have got booed out of the arena. Triple H would have got booed out of the arena. Hell, every single person in the WWE probably would have got booed out of the arena. It's not because of that. Hogan has a horrible past. He said horrible things. He has admitted to it. And that's the thing, he's admitted to it. He's a shitty person. He's a snake. He's everything that's wrong with professional wrestling. Everything when it comes to like dignity and like honor. Like a Jesse Ventura who has been telling us about Hogan for decades and nobody has wanted to listen because he's Mr. Eat Your Vitamins and Say Your Prayers. Jesse has been trying to tell us this whole time. Fuck Hogan. Jay and Drew was solid. I think it should have been a pay-per-view match or PLE match, which would have got more time. Yeah, I feel like that shouldn't have been a Raw match. But yeah. Main event, Punk versus Seth, was decent. It was good. It was good, but it wasn't I don't want to say mid. I don't want to say it was okay. I feel like this match shouldn't have main evented because I think that this match shouldn't have had a winner. I feel like this would have been a point where Seth actually turns heel because there is no true heel in this. This is just a who do you guys think is right or wrong? But I think that this match should have been a match where Seth turns heel and took a chair and knocked Phil bitch out of his head. You know, like for people who don't know me and they're gonna listen to this pod for the first time and then on in the future, I hate CM Punk. I hate Phil Brooks. He's a bitch. I can elaborate that on another day. I can have a whole pod just calling him a bitch 50 times. I don't like CM Punk. But that's not but my hatred for CM Punk isn't going to determine how I call his matches, how I see his matches. If he has a great match, I'm gonna say he has a great match. If he has a good match, I'm gonna say it. If he has a shitty match, you're definitely gonna hear me say it. But this match was okay. It was good. I don't think it should have main evented. I don't think there should have been a winner. I think Seth should have turned heel and won by DQ, or it still shouldn't have main evented, or Punk should have won by like a roll up. Somebody should have won by like a cheap win. Am I mad that it was a regular match? Not really, but I feel like for it to have more matches to come. I feel like this match didn't have to go the distance, you know. But last thing I'm gonna say about this Netflix Raw, it wasn't a. I'm gonna say it again. This was not for the regular WWE watchers. This wasn't for the weekly. We watch every single episode. This was not for them. This was for newcomers. So, with that being said, it was an okay debut with a lot of pointless shit that if you would have took a lot of the segments out or cut a lot of the segments and matches short, this could have been I would have been fine with a 2.5 hour Raw. This did not need to go above 3 hours. It didn't. So for future references, Raw shouldn't be this fucking long. Don't ever do that shit again. Moving on. I'm not gonna talk much on NXT because I feel like I did a whole ton on Raw, but all I'm gonna say is 2 new champs. Shout out Julia. Shout out Obafemi. Future is there. I've been on the Julia train way before she was even looked at to even sign with any company. Like when she was still in Stardom, I was big on Julia. So I'm happy that she did that. So shout out to Oba. I'm a big Oba guy. Even though I feel like Trick Trick hasn't really, to me, this is just my opinion. I'm not going to really elaborate on it. Like I said, I'm not going to spend too much time on NXT, but I feel like Trick hasn't really had a good run with the title, and I don't know if he's to blame or if Sean's to blame, whoever's booking his title run. But I just feel like he hasn't had really a good title reign that solidified him as an NXT champion. I think he just was booked as champion to be the face of CW, but then it's just like I can't really say that his title run was exciting. I mean, I don't think I really cared for his title reign if we could gonna compare it to like a Braun Breaker, Ilya Dragunov, Carmelo Hayes. Um, so yeah, shout out Oba. Hopefully Trick comes up to the main roster. I have higher hopes for him than I had for Carmelo, so hopefully Triple H doesn't fuck that up, which I think he will, but whatever. Let's move on to AEW Dynamite. Second show on Max. The first show on Max, I was gonna talk about it, but I felt like with it's 2 episodes in and I want to do week by week. All I'm gonna say is I feel like episode 1 was a great show. Very story based, where you still got that action, but it's going to last Wednesday. Buddy and Will opened up the show with a great match. Was it really needed? No, but then once you see the ending and then you understand what's going on with this, because we've been seeing Buddy Matthews put on bangers on weekly television, mind you, weekly Dynamites. He's been put on bangers, and then you see like the Adam Cole where they acknowledge Buddy, and then Will did the same thing. And once we talk about Collision, I will elaborate on that even further. But great match, great back and forth. It's a Will Ospreay Buddy Matthews match. Both great in ring. I feel like the future is bright for Buddy in AEW. I know he's re-signed like sometime in 2024, so I know that the way that he's been booked, I know that Tony Khan has something for him. I just don't think Tony knows when to pull that trigger, because Tony is oh man. And it's not a knock on Tony per se, but it's a thing where it's like you just got too much in the chamber and you just don't know. Oh man. Hurt Syndicate going for them tag titles. Private Party versus fucking Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin is going to be a banger. It's going to be hard hitting, because I feel like if you go in at Bobby Lashley, you have to go at Bobby Lashley. Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn have to bring it to Bobby Lashley. So when this match happens, I feel like we're going to see a different side of Private Party, where we see them get real physical. When like they still gonna have their spots. You still gonna see the high flyingness. You're gonna see the flashy moves. But you're going to be in the ring with Bobby Lashley. You're going to have to go at him. So we're going to see a different side of Private Party. Now, the outcome of that match is a win-win. Private Party beats an established Shelton Benjamin, Bobby Lashley. Big for them. They already beat one of the greatest tag teams of all time, the Young Bucks. Their reign has not been good, but a win over the Hurt Syndicate will do numbers, because that means you beat 2 teams, well established, whether it's as a team or singles, well established wrestlers. That will be big for Private Party. Now, while I say it will be a win-win, now yes, granted, the Private Party's title reign hasn't been good, but Bobby Lashley coming in and not winning a singles title, not going in and like, okay, I guess it's going to be a lose for Private Party. But at the same time, you have Bobby Lashley. You can't not just have Bobby Lashley just be in matches. He has to have a title. It's Bobby Lashley. Come on, man. I feel like since his TNA run, because yeah, he was an ECW champion in WWE, whatever. But his TNA run prove that you cannot have this man in your company and he does not win a title. He has to be a champion. So putting the tag titles on Bobby Lashley would not hurt the tag division or hurt AEW in a way, because because I look at it like this. People always be like, "Oh, why is these older guys or these well-established guys winning titles?" And I look at it as like, whatever team is going to beat a Young Bucks, a Hurt Syndicate, a John Moxley, like whoever's going to beat a Roman Reigns or a Cody Rhodes, whoever takes the title off of Cody, whoever takes the title off of these well-established guys is going to make a name for themselves. So you beat a Bobby Lashley for the title or a Shelton Benjamin for the title, beat both of them. You did something you not only did you win the tag titles, but you beat a multi-time world champion. You beat a multi-time tag champion, multi-time intercontinental champion, mid-card champion. Shelton has done it all. Bobby has done it all. And it would do wonders for whoever would beat them for the title. So they had the gauntlet match. Winner faces Mox. Now you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, for those who've watched AEW. I think it was the debut on Max where it was the triple threat match with Jay White, Swerve, and Roderick Strong. This is where I'm kind of confused, because I'm pretty sure the winner of that match was supposed to go into this gauntlet. Jay White won. So Jay White being in the gauntlet makes sense. Why the fuck was Roderick Strong in there? Now, mind you, I am a big Roddy Mark. Roderick Strong is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Dude is a beast. He's a dog. I love Roddy, but why was he in that match? The logic in there made no fucking sense. I don't know why he was in that match. Shouldn't have been in that match. Whatever. Am I mad at it? No, because I love Roddy, but the logic behind it was dumb as fuck. And what also was dumb as fuck was Swerve lost too. So for people to be shocked or pop because they thought Swerve was going to be in that match, it was like the logic in that didn't make sense either, because Swerve lost. So like, whatever. Hobbs got the victory. Shout out to Powerhouse Hobbs, man. I know he was fighting that injury, and I know a lot of people instantly thought he was going to be with the Hurt Syndicate, especially after that picture when they when I think it was like when MVP debuted. I think it was when it was just MVP. Powerhouse Hobbs was in like right at the tunnel watching. So I think a lot of people thought that he was instantly going to be put with MVP and the Hurt Syndicate. But no. And also, this is just my opinion. When he lost to Takeshita, I feel like I that just did not hit off. When he lost to Takeshita at World's End, I honestly thought that they weren't going to do nothing with Hobbs. I thought that Tony Khan wasn't going to do nothing. I really thought that. I mean, he had an impressive match. That match was great. But I did not expect this. I did not expect him to win, and he got that win, and I was so happy. Shout out to Hobbs. I know he's been putting the work in. Man, shout out to that boy. He's not beating Mox, but he's going to whoop Mox's ass in the process. My thing is, though, you face Mox, you can't have Hobbs lose clean, and I don't think that Hobbs will lose clean. I think that the Death Riders will interfere in this match, opposed to like them attacking after the match. I feel like they're gonna cost him during the match, which I think will keep Hobbs not necessarily in a title picture, but close to Mox, close to the title, because I think he's gonna go after guys in the Death Riders. Maybe Yuta, because Yuta's been pissing everybody off and all that. But yeah, I just see him staying close to the world title without still being in the title picture, which would be good for when it's time for him to go back to being in that title picture. Um, Jeff Jarrett did not get to participate in the gauntlet because he was attacked by Wheeler Yuta, which Yuta is becoming the annoying pest, that mouse that just randomly appeared in your house and you just can't get rid of. Like every time you set up traps and he just keep coming back. He just don't care and he's just annoying, and that's Wheeler Yuta, and he's playing his role great. That people are hating him. He's doing a good job. When he turned babyface though, that pop gonna go crazy. Oh man, that pop gonna go crazy. But so yeah, Jeff Jarrett did not get to compete in the gauntlet because he got attacked by Wheeler Yuta. He comes out to have a promo and he's upset. He's angry, as he should. This is the last time he signed a contract. This is his last active wrestling contract. As we all know, or for those who don't know, he does have a backstage role in AEW. I know he works. I believe he works with live events, and some of that nature. But so he cuts his promo. He's sad and upset, and out comes MJF. MJF is like, you know what? None of these people need to be around my title. Like, the state of AEW is fucking horrible, and everybody who's going after this title don't deserve it, but one man does. 12-time world champion, a man who's beaten a lot of legends, a man who's been in this industry for a long time, Jeff Jarrett. Now, Jeff, I'll rock with you. I'll help you. Because I'm a former world champion. I'm a former AEW world champion. I'm the longest AEW world champion. I can guide you to this title that I've held the longest. I can help you. I can guide you to that. This could be a thing where, like, a partnership. Just as long as you do me a solid, and when you win this world title, I'm the first man in line. Which, if that was me, I would have took it. Now, before I go on about this Jeff Jarrett stuff, I just want to let you guys know, especially for those who don't know me, I am a big Jeff Jarrett guy. I've been a fan of Jeff since I was a kid. Now, mind you, I wasn't alive. Like, okay, so I was born in '98. I wasn't actively watching, like, to my remembrance, because I've been watching wrestling since I was born. My parents were big wrestling fans, but I don't remember any of Jeff's run in WCW or WWE, and I didn't really watch his TNA stuff until later on. I didn't really get into TNA until 06, 07, and that was like towards the end of his like big time run. That was more like Kurt Angle, Christian Cage was declining too. But anyways, I am a huge Jeff Jarrett guy. I've met Jeff Jarrett. He is a great person. I met him when he was selling tickets for Global Force Wrestling. Dude, I love Jeff Jarrett. And this means a lot to me because, like I said, I'm a big Jeff Jarrett guy. So when he announced this, I was excited. I'm like, but then I instantly was like, he's not going to ride off in the sunset and get this big win. He's not. Until I learned that Jeff Jarrett has said that he has little control over this run. So if Tony Khan is controlling this, Jeff Jarrett is winning the world title. So all in Texas, you guys better be ready because Jeff Jarrett is winning this title. But back to this segment, Jeff Jarrett was like, I appreciate your offer, but what we call you out here is you a one-hit wonder, kid. Like, you made it big that one time, but you just cannot equal that success anymore. And MJF was like, nah, what the fuck? So Jeff Jarrett is like, but I've done this 12 times. If I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this my way. I'm gonna do this on my own. I'm got this. I'm a legend. Like, I guess first of all, if for those who've seen it, Jeff was putting on bangers with Adam Hangman Page, Bryan Danielson, and that was in 2024. So imagine what he gonna do in the ring with a lot of these other main event guys. You know, put him in the ring with Jay White. Put him in the ring with Swerve. Like, come on, man. Jeff got this. I'm pushing for Jeff Jarrett to win the world title at All In. And the thing is, he don't even need a long reign. Danielson didn't have a long reign. You could do something like that. It doesn't hurt anybody. It doesn't hurt for if Mox is going to keep the title that long. I mean, I guess whatever. It's definitely not going to hurt Mox. If Copeland's champion, it's definitely not going to hurt Copeland. It's not going to hurt Christian Cage. If Swerve is champion, it's not going to hurt. It might hurt him because he lost All In the world title twice, back to back. So it might will hurt him. It will hurt, like, I don't think it would hurt Jay White necessarily, but it wouldn't be needed for Jay White to lose the title, especially in a short reign if he wins it around that time. But I don't think it will. I don't think it will hurt. I just dropped my phone. I don't think it will hurt. For Jeff to have a short reign, you know. But moving on. Adam Copeland cuts a promo. You know, he's gonna go for that world title. Now I want to say this about the Death Riders storyline and angle. It's so repetitive now. Like, I feel like they are not coming up with creative ways to make them the top heels. They're not coming up with creative ways to make them more aggressive because they're doing the same thing every week. They're ending the shows the same way. They're beginning the shows the same way. It's literally a brawl, same people. You might mix it up a little bit, but I feel like people are confused on this. People are really confused on this angle that Mox is doing, because Mox is like, people are saying that you know, this is Death Riders against the younger guys. This is Mox not liking what these younger guys are doing. He doesn't want the younger guys to take over, which isn't the case because Mox never said that. Moxley says that he doesn't like the way that AEW is looking. He doesn't like the way that AEW is progressing or degressing or regressing. He doesn't like the way that AEW has been ran for like the last year or two. He didn't put an age range on it. He's just saying what these guys are doing, they're not taking it serious. He feels like there's no true leadership in AEW. And that's where he comes in. He's not really targeting the younger guys, but it was the younger guys that stepped up. And then if we saying younger guys, I mean, a lot of these are like day one guys, like Darby Allin, Orange Cassidy. A lot of these were day one guys. So it's like when you say, and Orange Cassidy is old as fuck. So like when you say these younger guys, I think you guys are not really paying attention to what Moxley is saying, and I get it because he's talking in riddles, and you know, you guys might be getting confused, but I knew from day one what his thought process was, because there is a big difference of how AEW looks in the last year compared to the beginning stages where Jon Moxley was the head honcho of, when it came to like leadership, when it came to like who's the main event guy. It was Mox. Yeah, you had Kenny on there, but like Mox was the star power. He was the name value. Now, Kenny's a big star. I love Kenny Omega. He's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. And I feel like next episode I want to dive into the greatest match of 2025 already, and the wrestler of the year of 2025, Kenny Omega. But Mox was the guy. And I feel like he's looking at it, and he's looking at who Tony Khan is putting up as the next leaders of AEW, and he doesn't like it. He doesn't like who Tony Khan is lining up. Now, if you pay attention though, because, and this is where I go to, Mox is not going, the Death Riders are not going after the younger guys, the newer guys in AEW, because he's not going after Swerve. Swerve is a babyface, but he's not going after Swerve. He's not going after who's some other guys out here. He wasn't going after Jay White. They weren't going after Jay White, and they weren't going after Hangman. I feel like those guys inserted themselves because they wanted the world title, which I love because now we're seeing people. It's not a Death Riders versus AEW thing. It's we want that damn title. Hobbs is not inserting himself because he's Team AEW, which I think he would be like if he had to pick a side, like he will fight with the AEW guys. He's the babyface now. I think that what Hobbs is doing, what Jay White is doing, what Hangman is doing, those guys aren't looking at, oh, we're Team AEW. Because the thing is, which when we go to Collision, this is the reason why the Hangman and Christopher Daniels beef is about. But what was I on? With this, the Death Riders, they're not going after Jay White. They're not going after Hangman. They came to them because they wanted the world titles, and then that's where that beef came in. The beef came in where Hangman, Page, and Orange Cassidy was already in the picture. He was already beefing with them because he was Team AEW. But Orange Cassidy is the day one AEW guy. Darby Allin is the day one AEW guy. It's not the younger guys. It's not the newer guys. They just don't like the way AEW is looking. And Tony Khan is going. I mean, Moxley is going after the guys that Tony Khan is looking to build around, like a Darby Allin. We see Tony Khan is trying to build after Darby Allin, and Mox doesn't like it. You see that Tony Khan is giving Orange Cassidy a push, and Jon Moxley doesn't like it. They're going after these guys. They were going after Private Party. You see, Private Party just won a world title, the World Tag Team titles. And they are day one AEW guys. So I'm so confused on like people are being mad at Adam Copeland for being inserted in this because he's not a younger guy. But it's like that's not the Death Riders' aim. They're trying to change. Moxley is trying to change, in his opinion, he's trying to change AEW for the better. And Copeland is like, I love the way that AEW is now. You're not changing shit. In a way to dethrone you and to stop you from trying to change AEW, I have to take that world title from you. And we're going to see that in the near future. Probably Revolution, I guess. That's the next pay-per-view coming up. I guess we're going to see that. Christian's definitely going to get involved. Hook's going to get involved. I'm not going to dwell on that. They didn't really focus on that, and whatever. The women's Willow Nightingale, Toni Storm, Chris Statlander, they killed it. It was a very decent match. I think Willow should have won that match. Willow been getting the hold for a while. I like Chris Statlander and I love Toni Storm, but Willow definitely should have won that match. Willow needs a world title run this year before Chris Statlander. And I'm not, and the thing is, Chris has been putting in the work way before Willow. Chris is a day one AEW star. She's an AEW original. But Willow has shown that she should be the main focus at one point or another. So that has to be the focal point. So then we go to the real main event of the night. Kenny Omega comes out, gives a Kenny Omega promo, than the Don Callis. Now, listen. Now, people are probably upset about this. I haven't really seen anybody like have a problem with this. Probably because Will Ospreay popped up, and people were talking about that more. But I think Kenny being back in AEW, his first introduction back into AEW should be with Don Callis because they didn't have a proper ending. Really, like they didn't. I don't know. I don't know really how to explain it. I know most people probably don't like this. Don Callis has cooled off since he was like one of the biggest heels in the company and shit of all of wrestling. It was like Dom and Don, the biggest heels in wrestling. Um, but yeah, I love this callback. I love that they're bringing Don and Kenny back. And the thing is, this is a different Don Callis family than we've seen since the last time Don and Kenny were feuding. So like this is gonna be some different because now we're gonna see a Kenny versus Fletcher. Um, we're already getting Kenny versus Cage, and Brian Cage tweeted like he was like, "This is the reason why I signed in AEW. I wanted this match with Kenny Omega, and we're getting this, and it's gonna be a banger because Brian Cage hasn't been booked like the main eventer, but he can still put on banger matches." So I will say this about this episode of Dynamite. It was very just like the first episode of Max. This has been very story based. There were a lot of segments that go on of progress of storylines. And I really like that. And also, I can't remember with Netflix on Raw. I'm gonna check again tonight after I'm done with this because I feel like this is very important for me because I'm a lazy bitch and whatever. But I really like that I can skip all the ads and commercials when I watch the replays of Dynamite. Really like it. Oh my gosh. I didn't even think I could do it. A commercial popped on. I was like, oh man. And then it was like a segment or something that I remember, like, because I wanted to watch it back because I wanted to see if I missed anything. And so I skipped a segment that I already saw, and it skipped a commercial, and I was like, fuck yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. But let's move on to Friday Night SmackDown. Okay. This is me, right? I did not care for that opening segment with Cody, Paul saying that Roman is entering the Rumble. I figured that because what else is Roman going to do? How is he going to start his road to Mania? He has to enter the Rumble because how does he just insert himself into Mania without at least attempting to go through the grind of being in the Rumble? But yeah, so that happens. KO pops up in the crowd. Cody goes after him. The new Bloodline pops in on Paul. So then yeah, Jay comes in. Cody comes in. It's just a brawl, whatever. I didn't care for that. First match, Michin versus Chelsea Green. It was okay. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I just feel like Michin has to lose this match because you're not gonna put her in this. You're not gonna put her against Chelsea Green in any possible way she wins. I'm just tired of Michin losing. Put her shit. You could put her in a meaningless feud as long as she is on top of this feud and she's winning matches. Like, I just want to see Michin win. Like, she could be in the most boringest storyline. Just give her wins at this point, please. LOL, pretty deadly. That's all I'm gonna say about that. U.S. title match between Shinsuke and LA Knight. I said this in Discord. I think right before the match started, or it was like we were talking about the match because it was coming up, and I was like, somebody had asked if LA Knight was going to retain or not retain, regain the title, and I said Shinsuke is going to lose or win that match via DQ, or he was going to lose the match via DQ. Oh, and I forgot. I forgot to say because this was literally the second thing I put in my notes, and I don't even know why I didn't even I skipped over it. What? Why the fuck did LA Knight just come after Jacob like that? Like, I from a from in the hindsight for the Bloodline to attack LA Knight in the match, it makes sense when you see them attack. But it doesn't make sense on why LA Knight, unless I missed something. I might have missed something. I don't know. I might have missed something. I don't know. But LA Knight going after Jacob, why? Why? Unless I missed something on the last Friday. Um, Sometimes it's hard for me to watch like certain shows because I work second shift. I mean, sometimes I could replay it back and stuff like that, but a lot of times I do miss some shows. Now that I'm doing the pod, I'm going to make sure that I'm caught up on every show. Um, but yeah, unless I miss something, LA Knight going after Jacob, I was so confused. So the Bloodline comes in and attack LA Knight. Shinsuke Nakamura retains. Haha. Um, A Town Down Under versus Motor City Machine Guns. Why is A Town Down Under still a tag team? Motor City Machine Guns is the greatest tag team of all time. Why? But yeah, they should win every match possible. Um, a big women segment. It was my biggest issue is why didn't Nia Jax beat the fuck out of Tiffany? She should have beat the fuck out of Tiffany Stratton. Whooped her ass. She should have beat the brakes off that little girl. Or they literally should have played it like Nia just went rogue. She just went batshit crazy and just started going after Tiffany, and Tiffany's just running scared. They should have did something like that. But no. Tag match was okay. Uh my mind just went blank. I'm pretty sure that was Candice LeRae. I think she's the only one on the roster with that barely pink hair. She was causing a distraction. She was pulling Bianca's hair. Bianca trying to, you know, get her hair back, and she whips the fuck out of Naomi on accident. Now, is that gonna cause some issues later on? That's probably gonna cause Naomi to go heel. Good for her. Main event: Jimmy and Cody versus New Bloodline, Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga. Main event was way too long. I don't really need to see Jimmy and Cody team up ever again. Also, the night ended the same way it began and in the middle of the show. Big brawl. It was a brawl at the beginning of the show, a brawl in the middle of the show with the US title match, and a brawl at the end. They literally recycled segments throughout this whole show. With the same people too. They recycle it with the same people 3 times. Same segment 3 times in the show. And the only reason why they did that is because SmackDown was 3 hours long. SmackDown should not be 3 fucking hours. It should not be 3 hours long. You know, people were like, for years, when Raw was 3 hours, people were like, oh, SmackDown should be the one with 3 hours. Because at the time, you had the OG Bloodline stuff. The Rock was there. Cody was there. There were more top talent on SmackDown when SmackDown was 2 hours compared to Raw when Raw was 3 hours. But now it looks like Roman in them is going to Raw. So I feel like these next couple SmackDowns, we're going to gradually see some of these guys leave SmackDown to go to Raw. But now that you don't really have that heavy hitter other than Cody, SmackDown shouldn't be 3 hours. And it sucks to say that because we've been pushing for SmackDown to be 3 hours, especially when, like I said, with the Bloodline stuff, and a lot of people's times was getting cut, matches was getting cut, segments was getting cut, and they were mainly women's matches, segments, promos, and stuff that was getting cut, and we were asking for this 3 hours. Now that we got this 3 hours, this SmackDown dragged, and we got 3 of the same segments, beginning, middle, and end. So yeah, SmackDown was okay. That was it. So then we're gonna end off of what I seen. Technically, like what? It's 3 o'clock right now. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. So I'll say probably like 6, 7 hours ago. Collision. Instantly. Adam Copeland had way too many segments on the show. Way too many segments on the show. But Big Bill and Adam Copeland started the show off, and it was a very it was a hard hitting battle. It was a very good match. I liked it a lot. I think with Collision, I think we're going back to great matches now, because I feel like after a while when Punk left and like the first couple weeks or so when it was like Bryan Danielson's vision of a Collision, it was still very hard hitting of his, like, of Danielson's Collision, where it was like compared to like Punk's Collision, I guess, where matches were still the main important thing. And I feel like it was like that with Danielson for like the first couple weeks. But I feel like Collision has just turned into like segment. You get a match here and there. This Collision and last Collision were very, very mixed. You got the stories. You still got the banger matches, because Adam and Big Bill, which in any year, honestly, you don't think that you would hear Adam Copeland, hell, even if he was Edge, putting him Edge and Big Cass, or Adam and Big Bill, should not be a banger in any year, but yet in 2025 it was a banger. After the match, the Learning Tree attacked Adam Copeland. FCR came out, yada yada yada, whatever. Hangman cuts a backstage promo, and as of today and every day, Adam Hangman Page is the best promo in wrestling. You don't even got to get his man a mic. Just let him talk. Man, he can go. Pac or Pac face Commander, whatever. Pac won. I did not realize, and it was a very interesting fact. I don't know if people really care, but I do. I wouldn't say I necessarily care, but I like that people are keeping up track with the fact that Pac is undefeated on Collision. I mean, like, I know they got rid of the ranking system and everything, but to let people know and to still remember and to keep track that Pac is undefeated on Collision is a big deal to me, because it's showing something. I don't know how to explain it, but I like it. I like that they acknowledged it. Wheeler Yuta and Claudio teamed up against the Outrunners. Yuta, coming up with notes for this, I did not know how I wanted to describe Yuta and Claudio, other than the only thing that I can really come up with is it is like a big brother little brother relationship. you know, Yuta is the hard-headed one who I feel like he really doesn't want to really team with the Death Riders, but they're family. They are family. Mox is family. Claudio is family. Um, Pac, even though he came in late, the relationship was there. They're family. So he's the brother where it's like, I really hate you guys, but you are my family and I'm gonna stick beside you guys. And I like that. I like that story arc for Yuta. I like that because, like I said, for the Dynamite review, once he turns babyface, that pop is gonna go crazy. Once that little brother finally um, separates himself, it will be great. Um, the women's match between Harley Cameron and Mariah May was shockingly good. It was really good because um I don't know if this was originally advertised because I do know that a lot of flights were delayed and people had to drive in, and I know like some people couldn't make it or some things like that. So I don't know if this was originally planned for this collision, but either way, it was a banger. Harley Cameron is becoming a fan favorite in everybody's household. She's been killing it with the funny segments. And the thing is, with the gimmick that she's having right now, right? I don't want to say it's Santino Morella. I don't. He just popped in my head, but he's one of those where it's like they have the funny gimmick, they give you the funny segments, the funny promos, but when they get in that ring, they give you a banger. Now, I'm not saying Santino Morella was giving us bangers, but he can wrestle. I cannot tell you guys a Harley Cameron match other than this match that she had with Mariah May. I can picture highlights that I've seen of her, and I'm not gonna say that she's a very good wrestler. I'm not gonna say that because I feel like she's decent. There's a lot of improvement that she can make from what I've seen, but tonight she looked like she could go be in a million title matches and all those title matches would be bangers, and if she walks out the champion, we wouldn't even be like, oh, goofy Harley. No, we'd be like, oh my god, she just put on a banger and she won the title. I like that match a lot. Brody King had a squash match. um then this is where I said Adam Copeland had way too many segments. He pulled up to Brody King during his backstage interview, and he basically was saying like, this is before." Okay, so before this promo was even over with, I instantly knew what the fuck was going on. Copeland was like, "I got a lot of respect for you and Buddy," and he did not say Malachi. And I noticed that instantly. As soon as he said that, I was like, oh shit, Malachi is really gone. Unless, because I know Tony Khan likes to do this. Tony Khan likes to cheat. Every time, and it's not even just Tony Khan. Malachi likes to do it himself. He likes to pretend, like not even pretend. He likes to trick you guys into thinking, hell, me too. He didn't trick me too. I said you guys because I like to talk shit about y'all. But Malachi and Tony Khan are the two tricksters where they want you to believe in something. Now, if Malachi is really gone, salute to him. I don't see him being any better in WWE, but I don't see him being any worse. So, salute to him wherever he goes. Yeah, he might not even go there. He might go to Japan. Shit, he might go to Mexico. Fuck, go Luchador. Wrestle in MLW. Tour the Indies. Shit. We don't know what Malachi really want to do. But so yeah, Copeland says, I have a lot of respect for you and I have a lot of respect for Buddy. And I wanted us to be a unit. I wanted us to be a team. But the ball is in your court. It's time for you to do what's best for you and you take over AEW. That's what Copeland said to Brody King, and that solidified that Malachi Black was gone, unless, like I said a few seconds ago, Malachi and Tony Khan are tricksters. They like to pull like gimmicks like this. So we'll see that. Shibata and Garcia was very back and forth, and I will say that it was better than Shibata and Tanahashi at Wrestle Dynasty. Main event: Chris Jericho versus Dax Harwood. Way too fucking long. I didn't care for the match. And then match ended. The Learning Tree attack Dax. Then Cope comes out with Cash. So then there's a brawl there. We seen that in the beginning, the first match. But then here comes the Death Riders because they got beef with Rated FTR. And then here comes the Y'all Runners. And I believe another group came out. I think I'm missing a few people or a person. And then so then there's a brawl. And commentary is like, no Mox. Mox is not here. So then Edge hits a spear on Pac. Great spear. And the thing is, Edge is so slow with his spears nowadays, but he gets some guys, depending on who sells it, still looks like a pretty good spear. He did a good spear to Pac, and Copeland is standing in the middle of the ring, and Mox comes out of nowhere and he attacks Copeland, beat him down. He got Marina puts a chair in the ring. He's about to break Cope's neck, and here comes Powerhouse Hobbs. I'm loving this. I'm not loving this segment. I hate this segment. It's a recycle segment from every week. Every week, recycle, 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 recycle endings, whether it's Collision or Dynamite. Recycle, recycle, recycle. But I'm loving this. I'm loving this push from Powerhouse Hobbs. I'm loving this, man. If only this is just because I liked that gimmick, that big black and what was it, bold, big black and something. When he had that gimmick, if he had that push with that gimmick, bro. Hey, but I'm loving this push from Powerhouse Hobbs, man. I'm loving it, and they're making him look like a beast because Mox is like, you a big motherfucker. What Rick Ross say to Keith Lee? But yeah, so that was this week in wrestling. We did an hour 30. First episode. I've been yapping away. Pretty I didn't really. Raw was how I described it. It wasn't for the average watchers. It wasn't for the regular watchers. NXT, we saw a new era happen in NXT. Dynamite was pretty solid. Recycle ending. We actually see a few. Oh, something I forgot. We're getting Adam Hangman Page against Christopher Daniels. I'm loving it because this is a story that's been brewing for months. It's not like it just popped up out of nowhere. This is a story that's been building. It's a story that's been building, an actual story, and Hangman Page has been so good at just being a storyteller. Whether it's in ring, whether it's segments, promos, whatever. Every storyline, every feud that he's been in since, so he had the Swerve, masterpiece. Jarrett, great, because Hangman was so good at making a story out of that, and shout out to Jarrett too because Jarrett is good for feuds. Jarrett is a feud guy. Weird to see him as a babyface, but he made it work. Crowd loves him. Hangman did it with Swerve. I mean not Swerve. Jay White, and they still have that. They still have that they're building while building the Christopher Daniels and Hangman. And Hangman has been good at making this interesting. And now we're gonna get Christopher Daniels' first match in I don't know how long. I don't know if the Russ is there and he's up there in age, but I trust Hangman. But yeah, very solid week in wrestling. I want to do for when I do weekly reviews, I want to do MVPs. MVP of this week of wrestling. I want to give that to let's see. Do I go Hangman? Do I give it to Hangman? You know what? No. No. I'm wrong. MVP of this week of wrestling, I am giving it to Powerhouse Hobbs. Shout out to Powerhouse Hobbs. He is getting that, and you know, hopefully this push goes somewhere. Like I said, even if he loses, he doesn't lose clean, and he could stay close to that title. So yeah, that was episode 1, guys. Cheers to many more, and I will see you guys next week.